Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I haven't done a video like this in quite a while actually, and I don't know, I just kind of steered away from it for some reason. Not really intentional, just kind of want to do some fun videos. I'm back with a case that is actually ongoing and it's pretty popular right now. I'm actually really curious as to what is actually happening and like what the turnout of this case is going to be. It's absolutely insane. There are so many people involved in this case. Like there's so many names and people you're going to be seeing, but this is the case of Tylee, Ryan, and JJ Vallow. So since there is so much going on with this case, I do have like my notes and everything right here. I just have points that I need to remember. There's so many things going on with this case, you guys. It's insane, and it's going on, like it happened in multiple different areas. So we're gonna start with Lori. Lori grew up with a brother named Alex Cox. They grew up in San Bernardino, California. They were a Mormon family. Lori was extremely religious. She took it very seriously, and she actually ended up getting married 5 different times in her life. Her first marriage was in 1992. She had no kids with this guy. They got a divorce, and then in 1995, when Lori was just 22 years old, she ended up marrying a man named William. Her and William ended up having a son named Colby. Later on, her and William got divorced, and Lori met Joseph Ryan Jr. I guess things didn't go well with Colby's father, so Joseph actually adopted Colby as his own. So Colby is now known as Colby Ryan. Lori and Joseph had a daughter named Tylee. So Tylee was born in 2002, and then in 2004, Lori and Joseph actually ended up getting a divorce. So just a few years later, in 2006, Lori ends up marrying a man named Charles Vallow. He's a very successful businessman. He had, I want to say 2 boys from a previous marriage. I believe it was 2 boys. Could have been 3, but I definitely know there's at least 2 boys. I think they're older than Tylee. But yeah, they got married in 2007. They actually went to Vegas and got married. And they soon adopted, so this is the confusing part. So they adopted a little boy named Joshua. So they adopted Charles's grandnephew, Joshua Jackson Vallow, also known as JJ. Charles's sister's son, so Charles's nephew had a son, so that his sister was now a grandma, and he adopted that kid. Okay, yeah, that's very confusing. Okay, so yeah, they adopted JJ. JJ had a form of autism, but he was extremely smart. He learned to read at a very early age. He was doing math really early and everything like that, so he was an extremely smart kid. In 2014, the family decided to move to Hawaii. There they ended up opening like a smoothie place or something like that. They were there for like 2.5 years. They loved it there. They were having an amazing time. While they were there, Lori actually ends up reading some books. They're called Standing in a Holy Place by Chad Daybell. Well, these books, it's like a series. She actually became extremely obsessed with them. I guess it has to do with like the world ending, and it's really confusing, but it's up to the Mormons to fix it or something like that. Something about that. I'm not exactly sure, but she became extremely obsessed with these books and obsessed with Chad Daybell. Like, she really loved learning more about his stuff. She actually ended up having the same beliefs as Chad, but like I said, they were in Hawaii for about 2.5 years. They ended up moving, so they used to live in Arizona, so they moved back to Arizona, Chandler, Arizona actually. They moved back to Chandler, Arizona. So in December 2018, Lori actually became a guest speaker on the podcast that Chad actually was part of. So it's like this huge podcast, and there's multiple people that are part of it, including Chad Daybell. I guess it's a preparing a people. So yeah, it has to do with like it's a doomsday podcast basically, and they're all Mormons. They all believe in the same thing, and I've never heard these. I guess they're all taken down, but I've never heard it. But I know it's a doomsday podcast that has to do with the world's going to be ending in July 2020 was what they believed, and basically they needed to make things right. I'm not really sure, but this is what they believed. Lori ended up becoming a frequent speaker on this podcast. Her and Chad spent a lot of time together, getting to know each other. So in early February 2019, Lori actually told Charles that she no longer cared for him or JJ, which is very weird. But yeah, she said she no longer cared for them, and she ended up going missing for 58 days. Like 58 days. She left the kids with Charles and just was gone. She stole $32,000. No one knows where she went or what happened. She literally just disappeared. During this time, Charles actually filed for a divorce because he's like, are you kidding me? You're just gonna get up and leave and steal $32,000 from me? Like, yeah, what the heck? So, oh, another reason Charles wanted a divorce was because Lori actually threatened his life. So she said that if you get in the way of my preparation for Christ's second return in July 2020, I will kill you. Okay, well, it makes sense as to why he wanted a divorce from her. That's obviously terrifying. I don't know why or what made him change his mind, but Lori came back and he decided he no longer wanted a divorce. He wanted to work on things. They tried. Let's go back to Chad for a minute. So Chad Daybell was a husband and a father. He married a woman named Tammy Daybell back in 1990, and they had 5 kids together. They originally lived in Utah, but they ended up moving to Salem, Idaho. Chad actually believed that he was an extremely special individual. He said that he could talk to higher up spirits. Basically, he was getting source information from like higher up spirits. So like he considered himself a very special person, that other people couldn't do this. So people needed to listen to him because he was getting this information. Which is how he thought the world was going to end in July 2020. Lori and Charles, their marriage ended up not working out, which makes sense. They actually were constantly fighting. Lori, Tylee, and JJ lived in the house in Chandler, and I don't know where Charles went, but Charles was not living there at the time. They were still married. They were probably working on a divorce, but Charles just was not living in the house at the time. They did have joint custody of JJ. Charles would constantly go and pick up JJ and spend some time with him, take him back to his mom's. There is one thing I actually forgot to mention. So Lori's previous husband, Tylee's dad, Joseph Ryan, actually was threatened by Lori's brother Alex back in 2007. He threatened his life. I don't know why. So remember, they got divorced in 2004, and then in 2007 is when Alex threatened him. He actually ended up going to jail for 90 days. Nothing happened though. That was pretty much it, and it was dropped. It was done. Well, in 2018, Joseph randomly dies of a heart attack. Now, I don't know, I'm saying random because they don't know if Alex was related, if Lori was related to this. They just said it was a heart attack. So going back to Charles and Lori. So on a specific day in July 2019, Charles went to go pick up JJ. I think it was like earlier in the morning, because looking back on the clips from the news, they said something about taking JJ to school. So what happened that day, Charles showed up to go pick up JJ, and Alex, Lori's brother, was actually staying with them. Not living there, but just kind of staying in their house with them. Not sure why, but he was staying there just for a little bit. Lori and Charles were constantly fighting, so their marriage was not working out. So when Charles went to go pick up JJ that day, Tylee grabbed a metal bat. I believe the two were already fighting, so Tylee grabbed a metal bat to defend her mother. She walked out into the living room with the bat. Alex told her to put the bat down, leave it alone. Well, they started arguing more, and one thing led to another. Alex and Charles began fighting. According to Alex, he said that Charles hit him with the bat in the back of the head. There was blood and everything, and Alex had a gun with him, so Alex grabbed the gun and he shot Charles right in the chest. Well, he called 911, and the thing about the 911 call, it was very odd. The way they were talking, like the way Alex was talking was so simple. Like it was just like me talking right now. Had no care. He said he did it in self-defense and he's not breathing. They asked him to do CPR. He's like, well, I'm not really sure how to. Well, they talked him through it, asked him where the gun was, if anybody else was in the house, and he said no. So at this point, the cops showed up. JJ was there, so I think he was in the car when it happened though. So Lori, Tylee, and JJ were gone when the cops showed up. So they were there when it happened, but then they left. And they came back when the cops were talking to Alex. Alex was telling the cops exactly what happened and how it was self-defense, where the gun was, all this. Lori and Tylee show up. I don't know where JJ went. He could have maybe still been in the car. They were talking to them individually, trying to get their account of what happened. So another thing, when Lori and Tylee showed up, when the cops were there, they started talking to Lori and she was laughing. So the cops were asking her what's going on and she was like, yeah, no, I just recently moved here, so my neighbors are probably like, what the heck? And she's like, ha ha ha, it's okay, everything's fine. Like, apparently the Chandler Police Department ruled it self-defense and that was it. Lori, being still married to Charles, had authority of what happened with him. So she got him cremated and everything. Well, the night that Charles died, in the house that he died in, they had a pool party, according to neighbors. They actually had people over, they had loud music, and they were all hanging out in the backyard, like having a party. Your husband just died. Your brother shot him. Your kids saw, and you're just gonna have a pool party at your house. Like, what? It's weird. It is weird. It gets worse, okay? The next day, Lori actually texted Charles's 2 sons from the previous marriage. I'm just gonna read the text messages, okay? Like, this is what she texted them in a group chat, okay? Texted them in a group chat. Hi boys, I have very sad news. Your dad passed away yesterday. I'm working on making arrangements and I'll keep you informed with what's going on. I'm still not sure how to handle things. Just want you to know that I love you and so did your dad. Lori, what happened? Where is he and what happened? I'll call you when I can, bub. He's here in Arizona. Where in Arizona? When did all of this happen? How's JJ doing? What funeral is he at? Lori, what the happened? You can't just tell us our dad died and disappear. You're not too busy to just let us know he died and disappeared. Lori, it's been 3 hours. You're not that busy. I don't care what you're doing. I'm sorry you are so upset. I'm so upset too. I'm trying to get JJ ready for bed. I'm waiting to hear back from the medical examiner to make sense out of all of this myself. Please be patient with me. It's a crushing situation all the way around. I'm still trying to processing it too and what it means for JJ. I'm sorry, she's upset too. She didn't look like she was upset when the police showed up and when she was there talking to them and when she had a house party. When and where is the funeral and how did all this happen? I want an explanation. She didn't answer, question mark. 2 hours later, still didn't answer, question mark. I'm still sitting working on arrangements and sorting things out the best I can. I'll let you know when I know. Why aren't you telling me what happened? I've asked numerous times, just tell me. And she still proceeds to not answer because she doesn't want to tell him, yeah, my brother just killed your dad. Okay, Lori, it's been 3 days. 3 days. You let us know our father passed away over a text message. 3 days and we haven't heard from anyone. The only information we have is that one text from you saying he passed away. You disappeared after that. We need any information you have. What happened? When did it happen? How did it happen? Where is he now? Are there any funeral plans? Can I and blank be a part of it? We talked to him all the time, and now he's gone. He was our dad, and we loved him very much. We deserve answers. Also, why have you been the only one to contact us? We haven't heard from Colby or Tylee. I know they are affected too. But he didn't answer. Is JJ safe, and what does he know? I need to be kept in the loop about all of this. This isn't a nonchalant topic. You can just throw a text at and be done with it. These are your dad's wishes. He and I discussed this a lot over the years we have been together. My plan is to have him cremated as he wished and then take all 5 of you kids to Hawaii to spread his ashes. He did not want a funeral, he wants a celebration of life. I've been overwhelmed, but I am going to try starting these arrangements today. JJ is doing good, but he does not know his daddy is gone. It's so tough because he really doesn't understand. He says Daddy is in California working. I know how much he loves you boys and always has. I have a lot of things to do with the business and contacting people, and it's still also difficult. Tonight I'm trying to put up a memorial page on the funeral home website. I'll send the link to you when I have it. I love you, and so does your dad. So at this time, JJ's 7 years old, so I feel like he will understand what's going on. I appreciate this information, but I will ask these questions again because I still haven't been given the answer. What happened? When did it happen? How did it happen? Where is he now? Is there a funeral? When is it? Who have you told about his death? Give me all information you have, please. My brother and I deserve to know. Well, if you won't answer those questions, can we please have his watches and the other stuff he always talked about and had around? Of course. Send me the address you want me to send the stuff to. Kay is supposed to clean out the Houston house. I told her to let you and blank have whatever you want first. Then she can have or give away the rest. I know he wanted you to have all that you want. And that was it. That was literally all they got from her. So after Lori ended up texting the boys, she actually found out that Charles had changed the beneficiary on his life insurance policy to his sister, Kay. And remember, Kay is JJ's paternal grandmother. So Lori was not getting any of the money. So come August 10th, 2019, JJ and his paternal grandparents, Kay, and her husband were extremely close. They always FaceTimed each other, always talked. They wanted to be in JJ's life still. So they spoke to JJ August 10th, 2019, and that would be the last time they talked to him. At the end of August, Lori actually returned, for some reason, JJ's service dog back to the company. We aren't sure as to why she did this. Things were going really great with the dog, but she just decided he didn't need it anymore and got rid of the dog. And then in September, Lori, JJ, Tylee end up moving to Ruxburg, Idaho, which is really close to Salem, which, remember, is where Chad Daybell lived. She moved out there to be closer to Chad. So September 8th, 2019, Alex, Lori, JJ, and Tylee all decide to go hiking in Yellowstone National Park. Well, this would be the last time anybody saw Tylee. Then comes September 23rd, 2019. That would be the last time anybody saw JJ at his elementary school in Idaho. The next day, September 24th, Lori actually goes down to the school and unenrolls JJ. And her reason was because she decided to homeschool him. Nobody thought anything weird about it. Lori ends up, she's living in an apartment complex. She has her own place. She has a niece, Melanie Poloski. She actually married a man named Brandon Bordeaux. During the time that Lori ended up moving to Idaho, Melanie went with. She filed for divorce from Brandon for absolutely no reason, and went to Idaho with Lori. According to multiple sources, Melanie actually had the exact same views as Lori. So they basically are the same person. Like, they had such similar beliefs and were both Mormon and everything. So she decided, you know what, why not? Let me go to Idaho. So she did. So she lived in the same apartment as Lori, just in a different unit. And I'm assuming Alex did too. I'm not really sure about that. But they all lived in the same apartment complex. Come October 1st, Lori is seen on camera at a storage unit putting stuff in a locker. And there's a man with her. Everyone assumed it was Alex. As soon as the kids ended up going missing, police showed up at Lori's door. Alex and Chad were there. They were questioned, and Chad's response is, I don't know anything about children, and I don't know Lori that well, which is false because him and Lori were getting extremely close. She moved out to Idaho to be near Chad. It was told that one of the kids was in Arizona with their friends, which was false because they called that friend, and that friend said that they hadn't seen either of the kids in months. The reason the police went to go question to see where the kids were was because JJ's paternal grandparents hadn't heard from JJ in a while. They want to know what's going on. Where's JJ? They haven't heard from him. Is he okay? It was told that, yeah, JJ's fine. He's with his grandparents. Which the cops know is a lie because the grandparents called the cops to go check on JJ. So they know JJ's not with them. So something weird is definitely going on. Come October 2nd, 2019, Brandon Bordeaux, Melanie's ex-husband, he is driving home. He's about to get out of his car. He's home, about to get out, and a bullet comes straight at him, breaks his windshield, and is so close to hitting him in the head. He sees a Jeep, the same exact Jeep that was Charles Vallow's, drive away really quickly. Well, Charles is dead, so what's going on there? And he knows it's Charles because he knows that Jeep. He's seen it multiple times. He was almost shot and killed. What is happening? A few days later, October 9th, 2019, Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell, has the same exact thing happen to her. She was outside of her house and she was shot at. She starts freaking out. She calls the cops and she says she thinks it was a paintball gun. Well, I highly doubt it was a paintball gun, especially because Brandon was shot at too. What are the odds? 10 days after Tammy was shot at by this masked assailant, she dies of natural causes. So it wasn't questioned, she was buried, that was it. February, and realized something is odd, something is not right here. They actually exhume her body. So they are currently doing an autopsy on her to see if it really was natural causes, because how is she gonna get shot at? How are Lori's husbands all gonna die? How is Chad's wife gonna die? Brandon gets shot at. It doesn't make sense. This is so much bigger than it really seems to be. You just gotta put these pieces together. So when the cops are looking for the kids, they actually find Lori's storage unit. They open it up and there's just a ton of stuff from the kids. It's just all their stuff. Because in Lori's house, there's nothing, no signs of having children, and then all their stuff is in the storage locker. Makes no sense. Where are the kids? What is happening here? So the end of October, early November, Alex Cox and Melanie actually went back to Arizona to go pack up some stuff from Lori's house. She still had stuff from this house in Arizona after she'd moved to Idaho, so they went down to go pack some more stuff from this house to take it with them to Idaho. Brandon had seen. After Melanie and Alex leave to go back to Rexburg, Idaho, Brandon notices that they leave a ton of the kids' stuff out on the curb. They just take the kids' stuff and leave it out in boxes out on the curb. So they obviously didn't take any of the children's stuff with them. November 5th, Lori and Chad go to Hawaii and they are married November 5th. Okay, so literally not even a month after his wife died, he marries Lori. That is so fishy. According to sources, Lori had bought her own wedding ring off of Amazon on October 2nd. This was even before Tammy had died. This is before Tammy was shot at. She bought her ring. I am so curious as to see what her autopsy says. Chad was in on this. He had to have been. And my biggest thing too is they believed in the world ending and Christ coming back for a return and all these things. She's known as a cult mom. They're both said to be in a cult. There's so many different possibilities for what happened to these kids. I've heard crazy things that they assumed the kids turned into zombies, so they killed them. And then I've heard that they could have possibly had a bunker in Yellowstone and that's where Tylee is. I don't know. I don't know if these kids are safe. I don't know if they're already gone. There's absolutely no saying. I hope they get to the bottom of this soon. Going back to Alex, he ends up marrying a girl named Zulema in November, the end of November 2019, and the day after they get married, Melanie remarries another guy on November 30th. Alex ends up living with Zulema in Arizona, and literally a week after Alex and her get married, Alex dies. They don't know why he died. It hasn't been said. So now it is known, obviously, that the kids are missing. The police are searching for them and everything. Police actually give Lori a court order to produce the children within 5 days. That obviously doesn't happen because the children are not here, and during this time we know that Lori and Chad are actually in Hawaii. They've been in Hawaii this whole time. They are still trying to figure out what happened to Tylee and JJ. They actually end up finding Tylee's phone in Hawaii. So the phone was with Lori's belongings, and we're not sure why she had it or what's going on there, but we just know that they have Tylee's phone now, but it was with Lori in Hawaii. February 20th, 2020, Lori is actually arrested based on 2 felony accounts of deserted and non-support of dependent children. So since she did not have her children and not saying where they are or anything, she ended up being arrested. So Melanie's new husband actually had some weird suspicions. He ended up telling authorities that Melanie was part help with her uncle Alex trying to kill her ex-husband Brandon. And he even said that she conspired on doing something with the kids. So she obviously has to know where these kids are or what happened to them and what's going on. She's been there with them. She believes Lori and everything that's going on, so she has to know something. Recently they found an email from Charles Vallow before he died claiming that Lori was actually trying to lock him out of his beneficiary account. This was definitely a planned thing. Like, she was obviously trying to get into his life insurance policy. She changed his password. He got an email from it and he tried changing it back. He was showing proof that it was him. He got papers notarized and everything to get back into his account, and that was actually when he changed the beneficiary from Lori to his sister Kay, so that if anything was to happen to him, JJ would be in her custody and not Lori's. So at this time, Lori is actually in Idaho, and she's being investigated. She's still in jail, but she's being investigated to murdering Tammy Daybell, Chad's ex-wife. I don't know, this case can go in so many different directions, but I really hope we get answers soon, and I hope these children are found safe. So I know this video was a little bit longer. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. There's so much going on. Until next time, go ahead and click that subscribe button wherever that is on the screen. This video, give it a thumbs up if you actually enjoy this content. I will start posting more of these videos because I love doing the research on it. Until next time, stay safe out there, you guys. Bye.